Happy anniversary to Mario Kart Tour. What's up everyone, it's Ryder here and welcome to a brand new Mario Kart Tour video here on the channel. A lot of people have been anticipating for this video to come out, so welcome to a brand new huge ranking video for Mario Kart Tour. For this ranking video, as you already saw by the title, we'll be ranking all of the Mario Kart Tour tours throughout 2021's ending to 2022. The way of how I will be ranking these tours is I'll be starting from when Mario Kart Tour first released, which is back in September 25th, 2019, except we'll be starting out from when second anniversary tour ended. So we'll be starting out with that tour and then ending it off with Mario vs. Luigi tour. So for this year, we've got 25 different tours to rank, and it was extremely hard to make this video because a lot of the tours this year were so amazing. This entire year was definitely the best year we've had for Mario Kart Tour yet. So if you do end up enjoying, make sure to give it a like and subscribe and comment below your rankings, as this video will be featuring my own opinions. So if you don't agree with them, let me know down below, and let me know down below your own thoughts. Without further delay, let's begin with the ranking video. Starting up at number 25 is probably not really a shocker to you all if you've watched my reaction. Space Tour. Space Tour honestly was one of my most forgettable tours of the year. It was really just kind of more of the downside to Mario Kart Tour's third year, and it really just did not stick with me very well. I know a lot of people did like the tour in certain aspects, but the tour overall was kind of just really lazy, and I really did not care for it very much. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about it. It was just kind of really forgettable. Oh boy, if you like controversy, here's some controversy. At number 24, we've got Sunday Tour. This is probably gonna be the only one on this list that's probably gonna be really strange. Yeah, I kind of really lowered this one down a lot, and it's not because of the content included with it. Well, the new content at least. It's about the old content. Throughout a few months when this tour was not out yet, the game had been suffering through the lack of new and old kind of stuff being mixed together. Like, they would always bring back these old tracks such as Bowser Castle 3DS Wild Shipyard, Wii Coconut Mall. Just a lot of those kinds of tracks kept getting put back into tours, and Sunday Tour featured the most of them in that specific tour, and it honestly was not fun at all. That right there is why it's really down low. Otherwise, Sky High Sunday is a really good track in tour. I love it in tour. A Deluxe's version is kind of still a mix for me, but Tour's version is outstanding. White Tanuki Mario is an interesting kind of all. I didn't really care for it too much per se. I do kind of really want him now because of it. And overall, the tour was just kind of really frustrating because the old tracks kept getting brought back, and that's the reason why this one's so down low, just to make it more sense to you all. At number 23, we've got Autumn Tour. This tour featured a brand new special item being Tanuki Item, which because Tanuki Mario arrived into the game. This tour did not feature any new tracks as far as I remember. I'm pretty sure it was just Maple Treeway and Maple Treeway RT being like the main kind of spotlight tracks. This tour isn't really too bad per se. It's just kind of one of the weaker ones. It's just not as good as the other ones on this list, so that's why it's a little bit lower. I think if they threw in something like, you know, Wiggler or something, it probably would have been better. I know I'm very salty he's not in the game still. At number 22, we've got Halloween Tour 3, known as the 2021 version of Halloween Tour. This featured actually a brand new, fully original Waluigi alt, being Waluigi Vampire, which is a really cool and great looking alt. It also featured a brand new London Loop, and London Loop is kind of really underrated in my opinion. It's a pretty good city track, but overall the tour is just kind of really mixed once again. It kind of felt like Autumn Tour to me, where it's just kind of like, it was good, but also at the same exact time, it's just kind of one of the weaker ones. At number 21, we've got Toad vs. Toadette Tour. This one, I remember back when it first released, I thought it was good. Kind of looking back at that now, there wasn't really too much good things about it, is what I remember, but it still was a pretty good team rally tour. A lot of the team rallies this year were amazing. This one, though, was just kind of one of the more, I think, weakest team rally. Didn't really feature anything new, and the old stuff was kind of a little bit bland from what I remember, but it was still a pretty fine tour. At number 20, we've got Cat Tour 2, or known as the Cat Tour 2022. This one honestly was really, it was pretty good tour actually. I'm kind of surprised I had it up this high, considering I really do not care for Baby Park and Tour at all now. Cat Mario Cat Luigi though is why I got excited, because 3D World, like I said in the past, is my most favorite game of all time, and seeing Cat Mario Cat Luigi being finally added was a really good sight for me. A lot of people didn't like the idea because we're getting sick and tired of alts, the Mario alts specifically, but honestly, I really liked the tour a lot. I thought it was really cool seeing those two finally come to the game, and Baby Park was good at the time, not gonna lie. Nowadays, I really don't like it, but Cat Mario and Cat Luigi were an awesome addition to Tour. At number 19, we've got the Samurai Tour. This one went a lot more higher than what I remember it going to be, but when I looked back at it, this tour was honestly really amazing. Not too much new things being offered here, but Samurai Mario was a really cool alt. His value may be garbage nowadays, but he's such a cool looking alt. I really love his setup when he first loaded into the game. He had this new samurai cart that looked outstanding, and I still love it to this day. It's a really awesome looking cart. And Ninja Hideaway is one of my most favorite tour tracks in the game, and that's the reason why this one's higher. Even though it got reused from the Ninja Tour before, this was honestly still a really cool sight to see. At number 18, we've got the Ocean Tour. I was thinking about putting this one lower, but after thinking about it, it was not too bad. I mean, it definitely had the same struggle as what the Sunday Tour did, where it had just a bunch of old tracks back. This one has two tracks that I actually kind of adore a lot, being Singapore Speedway 2 and Daisy Cruiser from GCN. Those two tracks I love a lot. The alts were kind of in my opinion, but the tracks alone kind of made this tour up this high on this list. At number 17, we've got the Penguin Tour. This one is a really awesome tour. It finally brought in Penguin Toadette, since we had all the other penguins into the game, and we finally caught Vancouver Velocity 2, which is just an amazing track. It literally has you go inside of this ice rink area, and that alone just made me so excited. You see Shy Guys just ice skating around in the track, and the autumn look to it on the outside was really cool. I just really like this tour overall. Vancouver Velocity 2 was the awesome track. At number 16, we've got Wario vs. Waluigi Tour. This one featured yet again another 3DS track, being Wario Shipyard, which has become one of the most annoying tracks out there. But the tour itself was a lot of fun back in the day. I say back in the day as a long time ago, but it was literally just the beginning of this year. I don't got really too much to talk about it. It was just overall a great tour, just seeing a new track, even though there was no new characters. I really just liked racing on everything this tour. It was such a fun tour to go grind on. Overall, a pretty pleasant tour. At number 15, we've got the Mario vs. Luigi Tour 2022. This was the final tour before the Anniversary Tour 3. This one featured N64 Luigi Raceway, which really wasn't one of my most favorite tracks out there for Luigi wise, but this game actually did the track really good, and the loadouts were really amazing when it first came in, and the track was actually really fun, surprisingly. We got a really cool Luigi Knight, which has Boomerang, and once again, like I said in the past, Boomerang is like my second favorite skill in the game, and Luigi is obviously one of my most favorite characters, and this was a really cool alt. His kart was really amazingly made, and overall the track, I was surprised, was actually really fun. The tour actually featured in tracks we hadn't seen in a little while, and it even featured in GB Bowser Castle 3, which we'll get to that in a little bit later. And I spent tons of time grinding into this tour. It was such a fun tour. At number 14, we've got the Holiday Tour 2021. This one doesn't really feature much of new, but it features a lot of good old, like Merry Mountain and Santa Mario finally coming back, and Santa Bowser. It was such a great tour because it had such old stuff being put back into the game after so long. And I also got Santa Mario this tour, which was one of my most requested and wanted characters in the game. I could never ever pull for him, and I had to wait a whole entire year for him, and just finally getting him in the tour was such an amazing moment, which is basically the reason why this tour is really up high for me. And of course, Merry Mountain being basically my most favorite tour track. At number 13, we've got the Amsterdam Tour. This track's music, oh my goodness, is so underrated. It fits with Amsterdam so good. Tour's music is just so amazing. That's what really sticks out the game, is just the music. The music is amazing in this game. The track design was actually really good. I love the way Amsterdam looks and feels. Rosalie Volendam is such a cool alt. Very creative too. It was like one of the first, one of the few Rosalie alts we've ever gotten in the game, and she definitely deserved that spotlight with Amsterdam. At number 12, we've got the Doctor Tour, which featured Coconut Mall, guys. No one hates Coconut Mall out there. Unless if you really do, then tell me in the comment section below. Coconut Mall is one of basically everyone's most favorite Mario Kart track, one of their most favorites. And it got recreated very well, and it was honestly a big surprise to all of us players, except for those who know about the Mario Kart Deluxe DLC, which we saw, it was in that game and it got ported over into Tour as well. Dr. Mario and Dr. Luigi both debuted in this Tour. Two cool looking alts, considering we got Dr. Mario World shut down only a few months before. And seeing them have some really cool animations that reference back to the original Dr. Mario was really cool. Coconut Mall, like, Coconut Mall right there should just tell you that this tour was obviously going to be really good. At number 11, we've got the Yoshi Tour 2022. Guys, imagine seeing a Yoshi Tour this high in a ranking video. Imagine. This is the best Yoshi Tour we've gotten yet. We got Gold Yoshi Egg Hunt, which is honestly one of my most favorite golden alts and probably my most favorite Yoshi alt in the game. I really like the color Yoshi. I really like the Yoshi yellow color. It looks really good on Yoshi, which is why I still hope someday we get a yellow Yoshi in the game. N64 Yoshi Valley debuts in this tour as well and is one of my most favorite N64 tracks. So many different pathways that it makes it such a cool and memorable track. And the rest of the content that the tour offered was really amazing as well. And I remember Vacation Luigi getting a top shelf on Yoshi Valley T for the first time, and it was a very fun tour to grind on, with the inclusion of half pipes being put on the track, which was a really shocking moment to everyone in the community. At number 10, we've got the Peach versus Bowser Tour. Probably by far the best team rally we've gotten in the entire game. It featured Wii Koopa Cape. This was side by side with Coconut Mall during the Doctor celebration. So we got the Doctor Tour first of Coconut Mall, and then right after that we got the Peach versus Bowser Tour with Wii Koopa Cape. Two Wii tracks, two of the most beloved Wii tracks ever, side by side, with Peach and Bowser Doctor both debuting in the Peach vs. Bowser Tour. And Koopa Cape is a whole heck of fun, and like I said with Yoshi Valley in the last one, it got half pipes added in the middle of nowhere. It did originally have half pipes in the original version, but it got added in with the inner tunnel section, which was a huge surprise once again. This tour featured a great track selection. The pipes were so good. It was a very memorable tour from this year. New Year's Tour 2022 will be marking down at number 9. This one I really wanted to bring up even higher, but some of the content was kind of a little bit mixed, so I had to put it down a little bit lower. But this one would have been so high because Meowser got debuted into this tour. No one even ever thought Meowser was going to come to the game. I really hoped he did, and my hope came true. Meowser came to the game and he got Coin Box, which I was really skeptical to think at first, but then I really enjoyed having him have Coin Box after thinking about it for a little while. 3DS Bowser Castle debuted into this tour, and it was such a non-memorable track at first, but now it's so memorable because of how many times it comes back. But over time, I feel like this one is probably the more I got used to a little bit more after it got returned so many times, so I really don't hate this one as much. Overall, being a cat themed tour was a little bit weird, but I think it was pretty still a fun tour. At number 8, we've got My Birthday Tour being the Metropolitan Tour. Now this one's got a really huge backstory, just because this was the first tour, I think ever since the game originally launched, that the tour just didn't load until like 5 or 6 hours later. Like, Nintendo actually had to fully fix it because some weird thing happened. So I remember having to react to the tour actually outside, and that was my first ever video for a tour reaction outside. Anyways, onto the actual tour content. This tour featured 2 new tracks, being Berlin Byways 1 and Amsterdam Drift 2. The whole tour featured a lot of cities, kind of like Anniversary, but it still was filled with other kinds of stuff in it. This tour also featured a new alt, being Rosalina Chef, which kind of was okay. But yeah, it was a very memorable tour, especially for My Birthday Tour. It was super memorable. At number 7, we've got the Bowser Tour. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Ryder, why did you put this tour so stinking high when everyone hated it? I think this may have been the best tour to grind like points on, because honestly I had so much fun with it. It brought back Meowser, which he had a lot of top shells throughout the tour. It also debuted the most skeptical and controversial pipe in Mario Kart Tour's history, being the new Golden Pipe, which had Gold Charging Chuck in it as a non-spotlight. The new tracks it featured was GBA Bowser Castle 3 and RMX Bowser Castle 1, which it was really weird seeing an RMX of a GBA track instead of an SNES track, but it was still a pretty cool track. I really did not care for it very much. But GBA Bowser Castle 3 was a very nostalgic track. I kind of still really do wish they could have kept the original graphics, But overall, it's still a really good track, even if it has the GBA Bowser Castle 2-in-1 graphics. At number 6, we've got the Sky Tour. This tour debuted in GBA Sky Garden, which is my most favorite GBA track ever. And in my opinion, this is a very underrated opinion, but in my opinion, I feel like they recreated Sky Garden very, very well. I mean, it's not going to look like the original, obviously. A lot of the GBA tracks don't look like the original. I don't really understand why people had a kind of garbage on Sky Garden so much, but it was a really good redesign. Obviously, they could have done a little bit better in some areas, but overall, I feel like the redesign was really cool to see. Mario Aviator was a pretty interesting alt, considering it was another Odyssey alt. His cart is probably the coolest thing out of this tour, seeing that he had like a little airplane cart that actually had propellers moving in the front. It was a really fun tour. At number 5, we've got the Los Angeles Tour 2022, which featured in Charging Chuck, one of the coolest new members to the Mario Kart franchise. We also got the addition of finally seeing Los Angeles Laps 2, which is probably the weakest Los Angeles Laps, but Los Angeles Laps is a really fun city track. One of the most beautiful city tracks, by the way. This tour also featured in Luigi Golf and, you know, the joke that goes around on the channel, Mario Golf. At number 4, we've got the Singapore Tour. This was a really fun tour just because the city track was a outstanding city track. It honestly convinces me to go visit Singapore someday in the near future. And it also featured in my boy Vacation Luigi, my most favorite Luigi alt in the game. Who couldn't go wrong with this tour? This tour was such an amazing tour, like, honestly. Preview was actually introduced in an interesting way that people had to actually look on Mario Kart Tour's Twitter and get a notification about some retweet and getting like city tracks and city tracks. It was a very weird thing. You'll understand if you actually played through that as I did. At number 3, we've got the Mii Tour. This tour, oh my goodness, guys, I don't know how I couldn't put this at number 1, but there was 2 more that I had to put ahead of this one. This tour brought in Mushroom Gorge, which was a lot of people's favorite track from Mario Kart Wii, and it was cool finally seeing it into the game after also being, I think, data mined for a little while, and the testing of mushrooms being put onto other tracks. You know the name of the tour, the Mii Tour. We finally got the addition of Mii's. Seeing as we get more Mii alts every single tour now, it was really cool that this addition got added. I think it was finally time, and they implicated it very well into tour. At number 2, we've got the Piranha Plant Tour. Now, this one featured on yet again another 3DS track, also was a retro in Mario Kart 8, being Piranha Plant Slide. I hated this track a lot in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, but in tour, this track completely changed my opinion. This is my most favorite version of the track, and it was really, really, really fun. And of course, we got the debut of PD Piranha finally coming back after all these years. I'm glad that PD Piranha is starting to get more spotlight in recent Mario games, especially in Tour. He was so needed for this game. And his cart also debuted back in as well, which is one of my most favorite carts in the game now. At number 1, we've got the Bangkok Tour. Now, there's a reason why this one's up here. Bangkok is my most favorite tour city track ever. It's got a vibing theme. The music is just, it's so good. The track design is one of my most favorite track designs, I think, for any Mario Kart game. As data mines have shown and a little bit of off-screen kind of things, there's a little garage section that leads into like this huge shopping market, which is such a cool idea from Mario Kart because a track like this was data mined for Mario Kart 64, but it never became a thing, and now we're seeing like a parking garage possibly becoming an actual part of the track. That is honestly so awesome. On the character side, we got Daisy Tie Dress, which had Coin Box, and she was a really great designed alt. Honestly, not a big fan of the characters, but the track is why I love this. There's so many cool features of it. Multiple alternate paths, new kinds of piranha plants being inky piranha plants, which will actually spill ink onto the track and will make you slip and just have like ink on the screen like a blooper would. It also featured a great tour selection of Mario Kart Tour tracks. Honestly, probably had one of my most favorite track selections from Tour ever. I love it. I just love it so much. That's it for this year's tour ranking video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to give a like because I worked really hard on this and it was really hard for me to figure out where these tours were going to be placed originally. So if you could give a like and subscribe if you haven't already, that would be amazing. Make sure everyone leaves a comment down below of your rankings for the tours this year. Thank you all so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Bye-bye.